The second S of wine tasting is swirl. If you missed my first two posts, which was a general introduction to the 5 S's, and the first S, which was C, I'll drop a link below to those. In the meantime, however, let's continue on. I'm Kristen Scott, founder and chief wine drinker at swirltosip.com. So like I mentioned, the second S, wine tasting, while it doesn't get much glory, I think it's actually my favorite S and possibly the most important S. It's swirl. So why do we swirl our wine? Well, as we saw in the C video, we can swirl it so that we can assess the viscosity. But the real main reason we swirl our wine is to aerate it. We want to introduce oxygen to this wine that has been trapped in a bottle. Now, up until we've opened it, the whole idea has been to keep all oxygen out of contact with the wine. But once we open it, we want to oxygenate it because that's what's going to release all the amazing flavors and aromas. So, easiest way to do that is to swirl it. Couple tips to keep in mind. If you're just doing a tasting, I have a little more than a tasting worth of wine in here, but even if I had a full serving in this glass, it would maybe come up to about here. That is an actual full serving of a glass of wine. And the glass is designed to really allow for aeration and swirling and to really help us, as we go through the other S's, maximize our experience of all of the senses. So swirling, you need to make sure you have room in your glass. If you find yourself somewhere with somebody who either doesn't have proper glasses, proper stemware, or overpours you, it's a small price to pay for not being able to swirl your wine. You may have to take a few sips before you can do this step, but you got more wine, so I wouldn't complain. So you want to make sure you have room in your glass to swirl, and I also recommend keeping your glass on a surface. We always see in movies and there's big swirling in the air. Recipe for disaster for most of us. Keep it on a smooth surface and you can simply use your fingertips to give it a good swirl. It takes some practice, hard work, I know, but you're less likely to spill it that way, and you can carry on a conversation and possibly even do other things while you swirl, because you don't have to concentrate as much as if you had your glass way up in the air. So if you're using stemless glass, you can just simply hold it around the base. But if you have a nice stem on your glass, it makes it very easy to give it a good swirl. The other thing to know is you can't really over swirl. You can keep doing this before every sip. You can do it a lot in the beginning and then occasionally after that. There aren't a lot of rules around swirling, but it is super effective in helping release the flavors and the aromas. So when we get to the next video, which is step 3 or the third S, we can test this out and see how important swirling is to our third S, which is smell. So I'll see you there. Cheers.